Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on Jump Ship. With the Jump Ship demo now being concluded on June the 23rd, I thought we should go over some of the lore, what's going on, and more importantly, there's something bothering me about one of the main characters. So firstly, we're going to dive in with the opening cinematic.
It started in the galactic center. From there, the corruption virus rapidly swept across the galaxy, turning our own machines against us. Countless lives have been lost. Now, we are all hiding out here in the darkness. But some of us have decided that we will not go quietly into the night. We are gathering up crews of survivors willing to fight, and we are going to push back. Even if it takes us to the machine-infested center of the galaxy, our mission is clear. We will stop the corruption virus and put an end to the Legion of Steel. What we need are jump-capable ships, crewed by those brave enough to fight. Will you join us?
So, this kind of dives into a little basically small synopsis of the story for those who don't know already. It's basically most of the galaxy is being taken over by the Legion of Steel, or the Legion, or the corruption virus, whatever you want to call it. This AI comes from the center of the galaxy and has basically taken over everything apart from one small sector, which is Atira. So this meeting is between the members of the Atiran Resistance Coalition, or ARC. We'll probably be calling them ARC for the rest of this video. The ARC's goal is basically retake the galaxy, defeat the corruption virus. Now the prologue cinematic then describes how you come in.
It was 1 year after the machine incursion. Our small group of survivors were settled in a frozen wasteland just beyond the reach of Legion scouts. We received a message from a resistance fleet.
We need pilots, soldiers, engineers, anyone willing to stand and take the fight to the machines.
It was a long shot, but we decided our best chance of survival was to join them. You volunteered for the mission to make contact. But on the way, there was an ambush. You fought like a true Atiran, but the machines were too strong. Your ship caught fire and fell from the sky. We thought you were dead, crashing down on that asteroid. But not only did you survive, you brought something back. Something that was about to change everything.
Now, with that over, the prologue is very simply, you wake up on this planet, don't know what the planet's called, but basically you venture around until you find the NSS Valkyrie. Now, you're called inside the Valkyrie by this mysterious voice which states the crew has perished and extraction is imperative. You get there and you find this.
Welcome to my chambers, Atiran. Please, step forward so we may talk.
This is Iris, an AI core who has somehow miraculously escaped the corruption virus, and suggests that you team up, get off the planet, and then go and join the fight. Now, the first thing to kind of note, which is sketchy, is firstly, Iris's reveal. She comes literally out of red lights and smoke. So I thought, you know what would be funny? Let's redo her intro, but with a little, music change. So you get the idea. There's something not quite right about Iris. She says that she's clearly been here a long time, as has the ship, which is clear is true considering the ship's a wreck. However, what's also interesting about the ship is the only bodies we find are around the core, around Iris. So that in itself is almost a little suspicious. But onto some of the more suspicious lines later on. Iris comments on the fact that she has seen something like the machine virus before, but hasn't seen it in a long time. So this is far from the first virus. The next thing Iris says in relation to this is that she assumes the humans of this age were ill-equipped to deal with it. Of this age. Iris predates this by a long time. We don't get much more from Iris until the prologue concludes, but there is some dialogue from some of the NPCs that is interesting. First of all, if we talk to Iris, she informs us that her mind is connected to null space, which is kind of like the jump ship version of hyperspace in a sense, but allows to perceive threats and opportunities as they unfold, but beware our enemy. But cautions us to the fact that Legion also has this capability. That is interesting, as it almost implies that they can sense each other. So therefore, if the Legion potentially becomes aware of Iris, what is exactly going to happen? This next bit of dialogue is particularly interesting. Iris says the Telmari Empire fell eons ago. It's fascinating to see you still rely on the materia we created. So we learn a couple of things here. Firstly, the Telmari Empire is not actually what was there originally. I'm guessing what the Legion actually took over was maybe like the Telmari Republic or some other government that just functioned on a different name but came out of the Telmari Empire. But the Telmari Empire was originally eons ago, which is when presumably Iris was created and was a part of that. But now that leaves the question, why did it fall? And why is Iris the only AI left over from it? And this also leads into another theory of the fact that the Legion could be an AI from that Telmari Empire that was experimented on, and that led to the corruption virus, and then becoming the Legion. And what's interesting as well is Iris says that the Telmari Empire created the materia, so it was clearly a bountiful and very productive empire. Iris also says that Telmari Empire was a time of limitless technological potential, and it was disappointed to see it all crumble. So she survived long enough to see it crumble. Now, she also says it crumbles because of human oversight, which is also interesting. It also kind of implies she doesn't really have a high opinion of humanity in that regard, yet is still willing to help us. Or are we simply a means to an end? Now, Iris doesn't say more on that subject. Before we discuss what the other NPCs are going to say about her, I just want to point out again, the Valkyrie. NSS Valkyrie, I assume NSS probably means like naval starship or something to that degree. Why was she so far out? Why was she away from everything? Was she escaping? Was she running away? Was the NSS Valkyrie a colony ship sent to explore new galaxies? What is it? What and why was she so far out? And also, what caused the Valkyrie to crash on that planet in the first place? Did Iris sabotage it? Did they get caught in a solar storm? What actually happened? There are a lot of unanswered questions. But now, if we consider what the other NPCs say about her, it is rather interesting. The only thing that Barrett says is that she's skeptical of Iris, but was willing to overlook it given Iris's capabilities. And Bob says the same thing. I like that core you found. I know a lot of people wouldn't trust it, but hey, if it wants to help us, I'm all for it. And this feels kind of odd in the sense that both are kind of skeptical, but just willing to go along with it. And the fact that none of them are like scared of Iris. Now, granted, as we find out from BuddyBot, significant amount of time seems to have passed between us recovering Iris and us getting to the hangar. Because it's implied to be instant by the game, but if we talk to BuddyBot, this isn't true. As BuddyBot says that Iris and Barrett freed him from the corruption virus, yet we don't see that, so BuddyBot must have been picked up on some other mission. On a bit of a lighter note, though, I do think BuddyBot has a little crush on Iris, as Buddy calls her impressive and says he wants to make a good impression on her. So I think there may be a few sparks flying there. Anyway, I really want to get to the kind of meat of the theory now we've done all the context and all the background. So, first thing, everything that happens regarding Iris up to the lead up feels a little too good to be true. So that's the first thing. Iris is literally like, oh yes, I'm this fancy AI core. I can help you rebuild your ship. I can give you all this intelligence. And I can help you retake the galaxy from the corruption. It almost feels a little too easy. Now, admittedly, the first thing you kind of think of, if Iris is evil, the moment you recover her and place her in the ship, why doesn't she leave without you? This is an AI which is presumably several million years old, and it's completely out of her comfort zone, and needs the humans both to help pilot the ship and also to inform her a little more of what's going on. And yet, despite being millions of years old, having been created at the time of the Telmari Empire, which she says happened eons ago, so we're guessing a few million years or so. Now, I think this is both partially because the NSS Valkyrie, has not been a idle ship. She has been scanning stuff and has been picking stuff up. But here is the thing. She's been waiting. She's been clearly waiting a long time because all the ships around them are crashed. And they are not old ships either. They look comparatively recent. They are the same design as the ships that we are flying now. So, Iris has clearly been biding her time. Why has she not been found earlier? Iris has literally been waiting for something like this to happen. Why? Because she wants to take over. I think Iris's underlying goal here is to actually take over the whole galaxy, because she's already stated she does not trust humans to run things, and that last time it happened, it went badly wrong and presumably crashed her on that planet. So I think the moment we get into the center of the galaxy, she will ask to be plugged in, at which point she will then turn traitor. And here is the thing, okay? This makes sense for a couple of reasons. Firstly, gameplay-wise, you can only fight 3 sectors until you hit the heart of Telmar. But if you go the direct route, the game's kind of done. Therefore, I think the way it'll happen is the moment you plug Iris in, she will send forces into those sectors immediately and leave you cut off, meaning you actually have to flee into some of these other sectors marked on the map, regroup, presumably either find another AI core or you potentially pick up a brand new one which you reprogram, put it in your ship, and then you have to fight a different way back to then kill Iris. It's a really interesting way of just resetting the map and making you go somewhere else. The other thing is, I think it would be a really good story twist, because it's kind of similar to the whole Portal 2 twist of Wheatley and GLaDOS. And a final reason I think this has been done is literally it fixes so much of the plot convenience. Because as I said from the start, it all feels way too convenient. By saying this is the whole plan all along, kind of fixes that plot hole. But anyway, I think that roughly wraps up this little theory video here. Let me know if you want to see more. Drop some suggestions in the comments of anything you think I've missed or whether or not you think my theory is completely bogus. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you all and good night!